Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Inspiration is amazing. It can turn this into this. Put it all together, and you get something special. Vuse is putting it all together with a special price, 99 cents for a Vuse Alto Power Unit. Available in-store and at Vuse.com. Vuse, charge beyond. Vapor products. Underage sale prohibited. 99 cents plus tax. Pod sold separately. Website restricted to age 21 and over. Tobacco consumers.
Vikings post-game coverage continues now with Vikings Overtime on FM 100.3 KFAN, Twin Cities News Talk AM 1130 and the Fan Radio Network. Vikings Overtime is presented by Transportation Plus. Now, with more post-game comments about the Vikings game, here's the Fans Eric Nordquist, AJ Mansour, and Paul Lambert.
Well, here we go. 2 weeks in, 2 straight losses. Who does Clemson play on Saturday, Nordo?
Oh, my goodness. I have no idea.
Something
but I
called
guess
CIT.
I guess you're watching, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're
I'm
all
watching. Yeah, I even had Zach put a Trevor Lawrence highlight in, but after you belittled me for thinking about, I'm not going to make a basement or a video in my basement.
Just play.
One, I don't have a basement, but two,
just play the highlight.
I will play the highlight. But
your apartment doesn't have a basement?
No, my apartment does not have a basement.
It's got a storage closet.
Yeah, it does. What if I told you, AJ Mansour and Eric Nordquist, that that Stephon Diggs would have more receiving yards than our quarterback had passing yards?
I would say that we were probably on the losing side of
Most
whatever
likely.
game we were playing.
Yeah.
Our quarterback was 11 for 26, 113 yards, 3 interceptions.
What was his final passer rating? Because it wasn't
15.9.
It was the third quarter,
and it was 0.
And it was 1.8, and then he threw another interception, and it went down to 0.
I mean, Nordo, you and I were talking about this before this whole bit started. This is the worst game I've seen this team play since maybe Philly.
So I'm thinking. I've in the Kirk Cousins era, post Philly, obviously. We've had one of these, it feels like, each year. So 2018 would have been Bills week 3. And then last year, you could kind of either pick week 2 at Lambeau against Green Bay or week 4 at Soldier Field.
But I'd go week 4, because wasn't week 2, didn't he mount a giant comeback and then threw an interception to kind of lose the game?
Well, he had that 45-yard touchdown to the aforementioned Diggs.
Sure.
But Dalvin was loose for 75. And we had that run game on that drive until Kirk tore the hearts out of our collective chests.
There is your dagger.
I mean, it was one of those games where you're going, all right, it's the second half. They're only down 15-3 in the second. You going into the third quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, a touchdown here and they're down 5, but they get basically 3 straight regular season games with a safety. They can't get anything going on the ground unless it's garbage time. This team only does anything. This team is through its 2 games. This is the worst Vikings team I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage to, the NFL schedule is every week's a new week of life, and then we get a whole week to react from what we just saw and then look forward to. The problem is we've seen some hideous lack of execution and just some poor football from this team 2 weeks in a row now, which worries me. And there doesn't seem to be an easy answer to any of it. I mean, that's the thing that kind of frustrates me, and fans should definitely be pissed off about what they saw today. And another game, by the way, in which we just leave the border battle at US Bank Stadium, in which you only had 18 minutes of possession. So you're thinking, what can we do to improve on that, right? Every week is some sort of overcorrection. So if we want to possess the ball and we want to give a rest to our defense and all of those things, what should we do this week? Well, why don't we run the ball? Why don't we try to keep the ball in our hands? Well, our quarterback throws 3 picks. Mm-hmm. We only had 18 rush attempts the entire game, or whatever it was, 17 or 18. And we had 21 minutes of possession. I mean, it's awful. It's awful football through 2 weeks, just pitiful.
Yeah, and the narrative has changed because when you do this 2 weeks in a row and you have this pitiful offense, can't keep the ball, you can't stop anybody on defense, whether it's on the ground or in the air. Last week, everyone was like, hey, no preseason. They're going to get some young cornerbacks. They're going to trial by fire. They'll come back. They'll figure this thing out. Zim will batten down the hatches and everyone will calm down. Now it's 2 weeks in a row where it's been pitifully bad, just bad. Like, and you're starting to see the things that are going to show up on tape for every team that looks to prepare for the Minnesota Vikings. Now they can't block and give Kirk time. When Kirk gets rushed, he makes bad decisions. If Dalvin doesn't have a wide open hole or get the ball on the edge, which they don't run on the edge because they're down by too many points, he's not going to get anything going. The cornerbacks can be exposed. The linebackers weren't doing their job, and now Anthony Barr is hurt. I mean, you go up and down this roster, there are holes, and it isn't like there's a savior on the horizon. Danielle Hunter comes back, we hope, week 4. How much is that really going to impact it? I mean,
Right.
that might help a little bit, get some pressure there, but there's still a gaping hole in the middle of that defensive line. There's still holes on the outside where you can't cover people in defense in the pass game. I mean, this is now the MO for teams that are coming in to face the Minnesota Vikings. Here's how you pass against them. Here's how you run against them. And here's what you do to get inside Kirk's head. And then it's game over.
Yeah. And the worst part about all of this is that, as you just said, there's nothing that's happening that you're going to go, all right, they got something here. They can't pass. They can't run. The offensive line is awful. Drew Samia, literally, DeForest Buckner destroyed the interior of that defensive line. And there's nothing they can do. And then you go, all right, well, cool. At least we get to play the Lions. Yeah, but we got to play the Titans, then the Texans, then the Seahawks, then the Falcons, who had one of the worst losses in a long time, and then the Packers again. I mean, I know it's only 2 weeks, but you got to now find a way to stop Derrick Henry running downfield at you with no interior. They have no way to stop the run, Nordo.
Yeah, and that's, defensively, we knew there would be a weird transition period or a weird baptism by fire, whatever cliche that you want to use. And, whether it was Unique Ngakoue or not having Danielle Hunter, one thing that I was curious about as we watch, I don't know if it's on in the background now, Chiefs and Chargers. And you're seeing, we were talking about it before we came in here, Linval Joseph doing his thing. How do you replace that? And so, my biggest frame of disappointment comes from the guys that are now thrust into position with an opportunity. So whether that's Jalen Holmes, it's Jaleel Johnson. You add Michael Pierce and he opts out. Okay, so you don't have Michael Pierce, but you have big fundamental, quote unquote, in Shamar Stephen. None of these guys are good enough at this stage to impact defensively and step into new spots and get significant snaps and impact the game positively. So in some ways, going back to like 2014, after the border battle, we're looking, when's the last time that the Vikings gave up 40 points? Well, it was a primetime game, maybe Christian Ponder's last game, that blowout at Lambeau. And you're just like, this defense, Zimmer's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And in 2014, he ended up figuring things out. We had several good years of defense moving forward. But now it feels like we're back in 2014 again, where it's almost full reset, couple of great ones on the back end at the safety spot. But other than that, and now without Anthony Barr, just so many unknowns. And there's nothing good for me to speak of today other than Ngakoue got a sack.
Yeah, a strip sack, which is kind of his
That's
thing.
his bit, yeah.
That was fine.
That was cool.
But that's like the only thing to look forward to, because now your 33rd overall pick is gone because you have to give it to Jacksonville. But more importantly, this team had 2 first downs in the first half. 2. That's hideous. I mean, you can't win a football game like that. And you just watch this team like, I heard somebody say earlier on one of the 15 pre-games that are on the radio and on TV that you got, what did they say? BYOJ. You got to bring your own juice.
Sure.
And it doesn't look like the Vikings do
without the fans. And
yeah, you got to bring your own. You got to bring your own atmosphere, and you got to bring your own energy. And they don't look like they do. And as the three of us have talked about multiple times on this show and just anywhere, they have no one that's tough. They don't have somebody that will get up in your face. They don't have. I mean, Say what
You mean like
We used to talk about the-
vocal, strong?
Yeah, they don't
leadership.
have anybody like that.
We used to
got a
say
bunch
that
of
with the
guys-
Minnesota Twins forever.
Right. And
Right?
this
Same sort of
Vikings team, their leader, the quarterback definitely isn't that.
They got a bunch of guys that'll they're just exchanging, holding open the door for each
Right,
other. They're
yeah.
just incredibly nice.
Yeah,
and polite
which is fine, but they don't
It's
have
Minnesota.
they don't have a vocal
it's mild
leader.
salsa and tater tot hot dip.
Correct, and that's what the football team is.
Oof.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it-
not
Well, that's
good.
not going to win a lot of games.
No.
No, and when you look at, this is just Minnesota, fatalism here, sports fans, and what we do here. We're gonna finish 4-12. We're gonna get like the 11th pick, right in that mid range where you can screw it up very easily. It's nothing's a sure thing, but you're not going to get a top pick. The unique Ngakoue thing. What people? I mean, some people are talking about it, but we're going to start talking about more and more now when this season goes bad if it continues in this direction. Is he going to want to stay here? Then that 34th pick is a complete waste because it was a rent-a-player for a year that you went 4-12.
Then it's even worse.
Right.
And you're getting to the point where I know we saw Diggsy today have $153 and a touchdown.
Man, we need that.
Right. What happened?
Over the top.
Was he so good that you completely, as you said, AJ, before this started, Adam Thielen had 3 catches? That's it.
First drive.
Justin Jefferson led your team in receiving yards with 46. 46. How do you not go back to where did Adam Thielen go? And if that's the case, I know Diggsy didn't want to be here, but my God, you've lost your identity on offense.
Well, the one thing, and without looking back and probably watching the game again, whatever the offensive philosophy was in general today, getting back to time of possession and just how you would attack this team, I'm not happy with what I saw today, and I don't think anybody is. So that's a real easy statement to make. But getting to that point of it, I don't know if there's lack of chemistry. I've seen that a lot floating around today since we watched the game. That Cousins is so comfortable with Thielen. Take that out of the equation, then what do you get from everybody else? Why the hell weren't we running it to the guy that we just extended?
Right.
Why does Dalvin Cook have less than 20 carries today?
Why is Madison in half the time?
Well, he only had, I think, 2 or 3 carries. But my point is when you have a guy that's that good, let him run all freaking day. We saw the Packers last week. You know what they did is they said, hey, they got these 2 rookie corners on the outside. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to run it to the outside and make these kids tackle. Well, they have the one corner, Rock Ya-Sin goes out and some L named TJ carries in. Right. And Xavier Rhodes on very much a post-prime state of his career. Why weren't we running at these guys? Why weren't we, again, working off of historically bad time of possession, exhausted defense a week ago? Why weren't we trying to control and create the identity that Gary Kubiak's offenses have been built off of over the course of so many years? You have a great running back in Dalvin Cook. He had 14 touches today at 4.5 a clip, by the way. So it's not like he was getting stuffed. And he is the one that ultimately gets that touchdown. But why weren't we using Dalvin today? That's just unacceptable. And so when you get that stop or the Eric Wilson interception and you immediately go 3 and out, I mean, talk about, whether or not you brought your own juice, you just spilled it all on the floor as soon as the offense comes back out there and pulls that crap. I mean, it wasn't good enough. And Dalvin getting 14 touches in any game, this is the same thing we talked about in 2018 with John DeFilippo when we were getting 8 or 9 yards a carry at New England. And I think Dalvin had 9 or 10 touches that game. How does that happen? That doesn't make any sense. Into the fourth quarter, it was still, as bad as it was a 2-possession game. We weren't running the ball. Right. What's up with that? Right. So I'm not happy about it.
I think they've gotten to the point that the teams are basically saying, we're going to slow down Dalvin because you can't beat us any other way. I mean,
they don't, though. Like the first drives, Dalvin last week for sure looked great. And this week they got down to it.
Dalvin had 55 yards last week? How many have this week? 60?
Yeah.
Something like that.
At 4.5 a carry. I mean, because he only had 14 touches.
So they basically get into this weird mode where it's like, well, okay, but even when they were down, whatever it was, when it was 28 to 8 or 3, they're establishing the run. What are you doing? Throw the ball downfield, as you just said, Nordo. against a guy in Rhodes who is washed up, and you got Sin out. Go downfield.
Well,
but they can't. They can't go downfield.
And that's I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying, is that what we saw from Kirk today, when you walk in at half, Dalvin, hey, pat him on the shoulder. We're riding you, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Win or lose, we are riding you. And I think first possession, first play, Kirk throws a pick. I want Dalvin Cook to be exhausted when he gets back into that locker room, win or lose, moving forward. Because what I'm starting to see out of the passing game, and again, because this team also scored 34 a week ago with 18 minutes time of possession. So we know that passing offense has clicked better, most recently just a week ago. But in a game like this, I want Dalvin to have to be carried off the freaking field after 25 carries in the second half in a game, again, in which that was still very much within reach. I think it was 15-3 at half. So I'm disappointed that transition was not made. And I guess to look at the play-by-play, if we started getting 5-6 here in the fourth quarter, then it was certainly too late by that time to do it. So, but the passing offense was terrible today.
Yeah, and maybe this is something we can break down after the break here, but there is a sense of panic that comes from somewhere on the sideline early in a game when you get down by double digits. And they completely changed the game plan. Something that maybe you should do in the fourth quarter when you have to throw the ball, when the clock is against you and you're fighting it. But they change it after the first drive. If it didn't work for them, if it didn't work to stop the other team, something changes. And clearly Kirk can't handle that change. The offense gets unbalanced, like you're saying, Nordo. They're not running the football anymore. They're not leaning on what they do best in giving the ball to Dalvin or including him, whether it's through the air or on the ground. But there's a panic, and they change their game plan, I think, too early in a game. And we can talk about it after the break because I know we got to get there. But there's something that happens early in these games that takes them out of their identity, out of their game plan, and they don't have the players and the leadership maybe on the field to successfully do that.
I think the problem the Vikings have is every team is literally just playing keep away from them. That the Packers beat them
when you turn over the ball 3 times.
Yeah,
last week was one thing. This week I think was different, where you have opportunities, you're trying to force some things, and you give 3 turnovers. This is what you're going to get for time of possession.
Yeah, I think they're just a rotten football team. I think that's just what they are, and I think and we saw it, and I think that's just what it is. I think they're a bad football team. I think that they thought they could fill these, that they would let Linval go. The Michael Pierce thing, whatever, that no one saw COVID coming, so that's a wash.
Well, Linval's had a year and a half that just wasn't good.
That makes sense. But then they thought let's see
Linval week 8 through the end of the season.
Yeah, good point. They thought they could let all these corners go. They lose the kid from Clemson. They lose Waynes and they lose Rhodes.
And Rhodes,
Rhodes had to go, but still,
who they offered McKenzie $4 million. I think he took the exact same deal with
just
Cincinnati.
To leave. So you thought you could come back with these corners that are bad.
And I think
Gladney sucks.
I think they were banking on Trey Waynes coming back.
Yeah, I think they were banking on McKenzie coming back.
He had a decent.
I think they were banking on Everson coming back, and that never happened.
Right.
Vikings lose 28-11. Your quarterback throws for 113 yards.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
Nordo here from my friends at Profile by Sanford. What up, AJ?
Hey, Nordo. Yeah, man, I'm thankful that football is back, but I'm even more thankful for Profile by Sanford. I've lost 53 pounds, and man, do I feel great.
Yeah, you look great, man. I've changed the way I eat and even how I think about food.
I have more energy, I'm sleeping better, and I feel better than I have in years.
What about the coaches, man? My Profile coach, they keep me accountable, encourage me every step of the way.
I definitely could not have done it on my own, so thank you, Profile.
To learn more about a profile near you, visit profileplan.com. That's profileplan.com.
We're all spending a lot of family time together, and what better time than now to create a great outdoor living space? Aurora Asphalt and Concrete can help build that outdoor patio. They did for me. My name is Chris Hockey. Aurora Asphalt and Concrete offers experienced professionals who know the importance of quality workmanship and deadlines. Go to aurora-asphalt.com and get a 5% discount up to $200. Aurora Asphalt and Concrete, serving all your asphalt and concrete needs, including asphalt or concrete driveways, concrete aprons, sidewalks, or patios. Go to aurora-asphalt.com.
Hey, Rosie here. Honda has extended its clearance offers, and it's never been a better time to upgrade to a new Honda. Honda's award-winning lineup of versatile and dependable SUVs offer the ideal mix of comfort, convenience, and sophistication. And with available all-wheel drive, you can make the most out of every journey with the 3-row Pilot, which I drive, the versatile HR-V, or the adventure-ready CR-V, now available in hybrid. View clearance offers across Honda's entire award-winning lineup online at GreaterTwinCitiesHondaDealers.com or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Wherever you go, Truestone Financial is along for the ride. Hey, it's Barrero, and for a limited time, you can get an auto loan for as low as 2.74% APR and no payments for 90 days. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, or you just want to refinance for a lower rate, your neighborhood credit union can help. Membership is open to Twin Cities and St. Cloud residents. It's really easy to become a member at Truestone Financial. They've got 10 convenient locations. Truestone has been providing outstanding products and services to its members for more than 80 years. So stop by your local branch or visit tellmemoredan.com to apply and drive away with a great rate. Hurry, take advantage of this special offer. Auto loans as low as 2.74% APR and no payments for 90 days. Truestone Financial is your neighborhood credit union.
Conditions and restrictions apply. Membership open at Twin Cities and St. Cloud residents. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit truestone.org to learn more.
Ahoy! Ahoy! Yoo-hoo! Ahoy! 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 Ahoy there! Ahoy! 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 In the name of the great Neptune! Ahoy!
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered with basic plans starting at $100 a year. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Annual premium for a basic liability policy not available in all states. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Most people know that Mr. Clean Magic Eraser removes crayon and scuff marks from walls. But did you know it even cleans tough kitchen and bathroom messes that are sometimes tough to tackle? Just wet, squeeze, and erase gray soap scum on your bathtub. Erase cloudy hard water spots in your shower. Erase burnt-on stovetop messes. So for all your tough kitchen and bathroom messes, try Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. We talk football. Live for this. This is the Fan.
3rd and 10. Cousins out of the shotgun play action to Cook. Rolls out to the right. Kirk with a deep shot into double coverage. Terrible pass intercepted. It deserved to be. And it's picked off by the Indianapolis Colts. Here comes Khari Willis, the safety. Across center field to the 50s, to the 40. Khari Willis with a long interception return on a terribly thrown pass by Kirk Cousins. 45 seconds to go in the first half. Colts lead 12-3. Colts threatening to get more points because they're close to the end zone, and the Colts get the ball to begin the second half.
That was a lot, but it was all true. That's, of course, PA. Vikings lose 28-11. Kirk Cousins, 113 yards, 3 picks. Dalvin Cook, 14 carries, 63 yards and a touchdown. And Justin Jefferson leads your team with 3 receptions for 44 yards. And maybe the weirdest thing we saw was Phillip Rivers, who literally can't move in the pocket, has no zip on the football, only threw for 214 yards. And it looked like tough sledding out there for him to throw 214 yards against a really bad secondary. But the Vikings lost, and Jonathan Taylor, 101 yards and a touchdown. They got absolutely dominated. It should have been basically 28-3, but they get the garbage touchdown there at the end.
I think that for me, in some ways, is more discouraging than just, Cam Dantzler's out with the rib. So hopefully he's back and, can evolve over the course of a year. You say Gladney sucks. I say I don't know, because he's
a rookie with no
seen much of him. So, but stopping the run, and we don't have rookies on the inside of that defensive line right now, and we do have guys that have been waiting and pining for an opportunity and growing under Andre Patterson, and we knew it was an issue defensively for this team a year ago, and Zimmer above all else because he knows how it impacts his secondary and his beloved corners. Stopping the run is an A topic with most defenses in the NFL, and to just watch situations in this game today and even last week with Rodgers, you knew it was coming. It came, and it worked. And it worked every freaking time.
Yeah, and AJ, this is one of those losses, too, where you can't be the guy on the team that's like, well, the team lost, but hey, I played all right. None of you did. Not a single one of you. The only one who played okay is me.
Kendricks had 11 tackles.
But Unique played okay. I mean, he had the strip sack. He had a tackle for loss.
Sure.
He played okay. But other than Kendricks, there's nobody else on this team that can go, well, I did my part. Nobody did their part. Yeah. I mean, they got beat up from this game was one of those Vikings games that we're all too familiar with, AJ, where you could tell this is over. And it was like the second quarter. They have no juice in this squad.
Right. They're punchless. And when they do get down, there's no way that they can crawl back out of that hole. So
correct.
It's a weird situation because I think we all went into this season knowing that there was potential to take a step back. But we tried our best not to admit that they're very young, that this was a weird offseason that nobody has ever seen before, with no preseason, with limited virtual this, virtual that, no tackling, no real hands-on for most of the offseason. And you're a young team. People were saying going into this, people who had the mindset of being in those locker rooms, that veteran teams that don't have to change coaching staffs, don't have to change offenses, that are don't have a lot of personnel changing, are going to be the ones that are going to come out of the gates hot. And this team is not hot right now.
You want something to maybe fire them up? I know there's no home field advantage, and that's not really a thing in 2020. The Vikings open as a 1.5 point underdog next week. You're going to open as an underdog already.
So you factor in what they say 3 points or so for home.
If even.
I'm shocked that it's not more.
Say
to
that's
be completely
a thing,
honest.
Then I mean they're a dog next week at home.
They absolutely should be.
Yeah, they should be, but that's not where we thought we'd be sitting here week 2 looking at week 3.
I honestly felt like we'd be 1-1 at this stage.
Well, after the Colts game last week, we were all like, oh, this is a good bounce back game. They got beat by the Jags. I mean, they didn't look good. Rivers looked old.
I thought they
got
smoked
hurt.
This team.
Yeah, but to the point of new people starting on defense and new faces and all of those things.
6 new starters.
There are some aspects of what we've seen against both the Packers and the Colts that are completely unsurprising. It's new guys making really stupid mistakes.
Sure.
This offense is surprising to me. The continuity you mentioned not changing. I mean, with the exception of, most recently now Pat Elflein with the thumb bit. So then Samia's in the mix and all of that. We know all of these faces.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota Dozier, it felt like, at least from, the truncated camp and everything, he was kind of handpicked. It was almost a foregone conclusion that he was going to be the left guard. And so Ezra might not be close, might not be ready, weird offseason, all of those things. So, but the minus Diggs, everything else is in place. And again, Dalvin is the best player you have on offense.
Correct.
He's not the highest paid player, but he's the best player. And so what really has surprised me is what we saw today from the aspect of deviating away, from what you do really well to what our identity has been in the past to now into a season where you're having a hard time finding out what you do well. And that's because you haven't been giving it to your best offensive player. So the offense was the thing I felt like we would lean on. We would come in, we would not be competing for the top 5 in scoring defenses. We would not be competing with historic third down percentages and those things defensively. But I always felt like getting to 20 to 21 points a game was not going to be a problem for this team. And today, I mean, I'm surprised that they even got that touchdown at the end of the game.
Yeah, but that's where they shine, though, is in just garbage time when there's no pressure.
Through just 2 games, look much better when they're chasing an impossible scoreline.
I mean, I don't know anything, and I could probably do it, but I would probably screw the math up. I wonder what Kirk Cousins' numbers are when it's not basically out of hand.
Right, because we've seen a lot of his.
Because he got what, 2 touchdowns last week, and it was basically out of hand.
Yeah,
he handed it off to Dalvin, but he has 113 yards, man. A guy, think about this, and I know it's a different circumstance and a completely different game, and I know you can't compare it, but hey, it's Sports Talk Radio, and they give me the mic, so I'm going to do it. Kirk Cousins had 113 yards, prepared all week to be the starter for this team through 3 touchdowns. Justin Herbert found out in warmups he was going to play.
Yeah,
he has 304 yards, a touchdown, and he's on his way, even though it's tied, to possibly beating the Super Bowl champs. He had 5 minutes before he could get on the field, and he has 304 yards against the Super Bowl champs. I mean, it's
Kirk did throw, at least in 2019, he did throw the most number of touchdowns in any scenario.
He can't throw a Hail Mary into the end zone.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was bad, man.
Like a pop-up when you're playing in the back.
Correct. It was 500.
Yeah.
He played 500 before the half, and the 6 overall pick who had literally, you're starting. I am? Yes, you are. Here he is, 304 yards, a touchdown, and he's run one in. Justin Herbert's going to beat the Super Bowl champs. Go ahead, Norm.
Well, to the point you were trying to make, Saucy, that when he was either leading, tied, or trailing.
I'm fired up because I've been up early.
The
Vikings are hitting.
Okay.
Us. Go ahead.
All right. He threw 10 touchdowns when trailing. Okay. As you were.
Wait, threw 10 touchdowns trailing what, last year?
Compared to 9 touchdowns when he was leading.
Ooh. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad of a number I thought it would be. No. I thought it'd be
now it's about the same.
5 to 20 or something. But yeah, I get it.
It just feels like it because it's highlighted.
Through two games, this team has not looked like a team that's going to finish 500 or better. It's not. It's everything at this stage is in question and should be, as pissed off as the fans are, fire everybody. I can't disagree with how mad they are about what they've seen today.
I got a couple of questions for you guys, and we'll go around the league, my favorite part, because there are people who, if they don't follow Paul Charchian, have no idea what's going on in the NFL today.
Yeah, by the way, at Paul Charchian on Twitter, you can follow him because what's cool is that if you don't have the internet or TV, which actually would then preclude you from being able to access Twitter, so I don't understand that. But follow Twitter because he live tweets every single game. Busiest man in America. Somebody get him some water and a towel. And you can follow him for all the updates.
Nordo here from my friends at Profile by Sanford. What up, AJ?
Hey, Nordo. Yeah, man, I'm thankful that football is back, but I'm even more thankful for Profile by Sanford. I've lost 53 pounds, and man, do I feel great.
Yeah, you look great, man. I've changed the way I eat and even how I think about food.
I have more energy, I'm sleeping better, and I feel better than I have in years.
What about the coaches, man? My Profile coach, they keep me accountable, encourage me every step of the way.
I definitely could not have done it on my own, so thank you, Profile.
To learn more about a profile near you, visit profileplan.com. That's profileplan.com.
We made USAA insurance for members like Beth, a Navy veteran. She and her husband Larry might be old school, but they're made of the curiosity to always try new things, like that cooking class, or skiing, and finally learning guitar, now that the kids are out of the house. So when Beth realized they were overpaying the insurance company they've been with for years, she and Larry thought they'd try another new thing, switching to USAA. USAA insurance is made the way Beth and Larry need it, with super knowledgeable agents who take the time to understand your coverage needs and help you find the savings you deserve. Switch and save with USAA Insurance. Get a quote today at usaa.com/insurance. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Ability to receive a quote depends on membership eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
It's Barrero and Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant with a crucial reminder. Even in this COVID-19 winter of our discontent, if you're injured in an accident, do not wait. Right, Mike?
Exactly right, Dan. Waiting until the pandemic subsides is not the way you want to go.
Why is that so important?
If you wait, that can seriously affect your case, reducing or eliminating your settlement altogether.
How does waiting potentially weaken a victim's case?
It's simple. Much of the evidence we need to collect can fade over time, becoming less useful in court. At Bradshaw & Bryant, we're ready to get to work on your case right away to get you the compensation you deserve. And we'll do it while safely social distancing. We'll do everything we can to keep you safe, but still protected.
One phone call to you, right?
One phone call. I hope you're never injured in an accident, but if you are, don't wait and don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Sage advice from an experienced and licensed attorney who knows this business. He's Mike Bryant of Bradshaw & Bryant. More info at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
Pros today have to do whatever the job calls for, and the Home Depot is here to help make that easier. With a wide range of delivery options, you can get what you need, from job lot quantities to small supply runs, delivered where and when you need it. Don't want to buy the tool? Rent it. We've got the most innovative products and more ways for pros to find them, in-store and online. Pros are changing, so are we. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
It's time for some straight talk. Here's a wireless equation to wrap your brain around. Big carriers plus fancy phone offers plus pricey contracts equals fail. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get a new phone payment plan with no fees, no contracts, and no deposits for great Samsung phones starting at less than $7 a month. All on America's largest and most dependable networks for up to 50% less. Turn that brain power into money-saving power. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise.
The radio home of the Minnesota Vikings. FM 100.3, KFXM Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Fan.
Second and 27 as Hines, the tailback, goes in motion left to right. Four receivers to the right, make it three as Hines motions back to the left. Rivers, he finally hit, and the ball came out, but it was recovered at the 21-yard line by the Indianapolis Colts, and Braden Smith, the right tackle, fell on it. Yannick Ngakoue, with his biggest play as a member of the Minnesota Vikings, he was the one with the strip sack on Phillip Rivers, recovered by the Colts.
Your Minnesota Vikings lose 28-11. That was probably the best play of the game. And just like last week, we did Bengals fan line because we saw Burrow with a chance to win. Herbert with a chance to win it here.
Come on.
Looks lost. Just takes the
God.
ball down.
That's okay.
They're going to kick the field goal, though, which is fine. Don't throw it into the back of the end zone. But Chiefs.
And you give the ball back with 3 minutes.
Yeah, to Patrick Mahomes, who just needs a touchdown to win. But Chiefs, Chargers tied 17-17. The guy went the wrong way on the play.
There's a couple of games today that are actually competitive.
Yeah.
And interesting.
Yeah, unlike
the one we watched at noon.
Yeah, which
we should talk about those games.
Yeah, we should talk about those games because maybe there was arguably one of the most interesting games we've seen in a long, long time. We will get to that one. But as I said, Chargers and Chiefs tied at 17. Chargers about to take a 20-17 lead with the and good. So 20-17 Chargers over the Chiefs. Let's start with the other games that were around the league, and there were a lot of them because every team's playing because there are no bye weeks. The Bears 17, the Giants 13. Saquon Barkley gets hurt on one play, comes back in a few plays later, and it's been confirmed he tore his ACL. The Giants
back?
What? He came back. Sorry. So he got hurt. Like
he got hit hurt twice. Gotcha.
And I'm like, well, he's out with that.
He didn't tear his ACL.
No.
Okay, I got
So then he came back in on his very first play back. He hurt himself again. But the Bears are 2-0, man, and the Giants are 0-2. And so there's that.
So the Bears and the Packers are both
2-0.
2-0. Okay.
And the Lions and the Vikings are 0-2.
0-2.
At one point,
That's awesome.
That's not. That's not
Great.
good at all.
That's sweet.
Yeah, because Mike Florio called in last week and made an analogy with you guys, Nordo, where you don't have to freak out. Basically, he said you don't have to freak out if you lose week 1, if it looks bad, whatever, unless you play a division opponent, because then it becomes especially at home.
It's a 2-game swing.
That's right. It's a 2-game swing. Potentially, you have to make up 3 games because you're going to lose that tiebreaker.
Yep.
You're likely going to, I mean, that's what he's assuming, likely going to have a tougher game on the road at that opponent's home. So let's say you lose both those games, and you got to win 3 games more than they do the rest of the way. You're playing catch up. Now I'm going to do that with 2 teams.
Yeah, not good.
Buzz.
The Cowboys were down 29-10 at half. They scored 16 points in the final 5 minutes. They recovered an onside kick. They win 40-39 over Atlanta, who cannot close.
Which that onside kick,
absolutely
was
ridiculous.
it Zerline?
How do you not fall on that though?
Was it Zerline?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the discipline by, it was either number 28 or 29 for the Cowboys.
To wait.
He was like watching his kid walking for the first time.
It was like curling.
He was just waddling it, just waiting, crossed the line and got on it. It was awesome.
But the Falcons just watched him do that.
But how do you not? But this was my question, and I don't know the answer.
Well, I think they would get a penalty and it's 5 yards and kick again. Now, maybe, and this is one of those cases where you're like, yeah, let's just let him kick again.
Right.
But I think that's what it is.
So they can't contact him within the 10 yards?
Correct.
Isn't that a block?
I think that's like it's like the Rhineland or something. It's like you can't.
Wow.
Because there was nobody else blocking or anything.
It
like
has
that.
Everyone is watching. It has to go 10 yards, right?
Yes, it does.
Obviously, that's
before
been a rule
anybody
forever.
touches.
Correct.
Yeah.
Before anyone can touch it.
Yes.
So you can't just see it spinning like a top and at 6 yards go, I'm going to fall on it. You can't do that?
No, it has to travel 10 yards.
But the Falcons could have run up and picked it up.
Right. I don't know.
Any one of the Falcons could have gone up and grabbed it.
So they're allowed to pick it up.
I would assume.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
they
the
are.
second that's why I didn't get it.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't get why they're just watching it. They don't have to wait.
It just traveled past 3 or 4 guys in route there.
Right. And as we were saying, if you're the Falcons, fall on it and let them re-kick. Who cares?
Yeah, if you have to take a penalty, take a penalty.
Yeah, correct.
You
Fall on it,
basically
let them
let them have it.
Yeah, but if you're saying they can foul on it, then it wouldn't be a penalty anyway.
Yeah, I don't really know that whole bit, but that's the whole thing. I was really weird. So anyhow, the Cowboys won 40.
I was talking about blocking. I'm sorry. Just clear that guy out. He's just watching it.
Right. Yeah, knock him out of the way. Yeah, you can hit him. It's football. Where else here? Packers. How about this, man? The Packers 42, the Lions 21. Aaron Jones, 68 yards receiving and a touchdown, 168 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. That Packers team is unbelievably good.
They played the Lions. I mean, they played 2 bad football teams this year. And we're all Vikings fans, but we're a bad football team right now.
Yeah, they were down.
I want to see them play somebody else.
3, I think, at one point.
Yeah, they just flipped the switch.
The Vikings' next opponent, the Titans, 33, Jacksonville 30. Tannehill threw for 4 touchdowns in that game. They're going to have a tough time slowing down Derrick Henry, man. They're going to have a real tough time.
Yeah, it's been weird with Henry because he hasn't had great games so far this year, but the Titans, I guess they lost that first game they won, right?
Yeah, the Titans are 2-0, yeah.
Yeah, without Henry blowing up and doing anything crazy. It's been Tannehill in that passing game. A.J. Brown was hurt this week and was out.
Yeah.
I don't know what his status is, if it's a longer-term thing and they might not play next week. Probably won't matter because we can't stop tight ends either. And Jonnu Smith had 2 touchdowns and something close to 100 yards today.
Yeah, he did. He had.
They did allow 30 points to the Jags.
Yeah,
maybe the Jags aren't as bad as we think they are, though.
And they gave up definitely triple digits on the ground. It was something Robinson. I forget who the hell their running backs.
Yeah,
James Robinson.
Yeah.
Chris Thompson's.
Chris Thompson caught one, I believe. Yeah.
What is he, like 50 now?
Yeah.
With the
Gardner, though, man.
Empire.
Yeah, Gardner's good. Dude.
Yeah.
The Bills 31, Dolphins 28. Josh Allen throws for 4 touchdowns. One of them goes to Stephon Diggs, who had 153 yards.
Yeah, he's sweet.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic player who didn't. He kind of didn't want to be here anymore. So we traded.
It's tough.
Him
you can't do anything about that, right?
Yeah, the Bills are 2-0, man.
Yeah.
Bills are 2-0. I wonder if he'll start
Josh Allen's
tweeting.
all right, man.
Yeah, he is good. I wonder if he'll start tweeting tonight. 49ers lose a bunch of guys, man. They lost Bosa. They
And
lost Solomon Thomas.
Mostert.
They lost that guy.
I
They
think
lost
Thomas and
Garoppolo.
I think both Thomas and
are
both are both ACLs.
Man.
Ugh.
And then Mostert's an ankle. Garoppolo's an ankle. I mean, that's nasty. I mean, that's the teeth. Well, Solomon Thomas has just been okay, but Bosa clearly a game changer. So if they're out for the rest of the year, at least they got the win against the Jets today.
Yeah, who are
but they just had a
hideous.
They had a weird vibe where they changed some things. A lot of their wide receivers were injured into the season, and it's difficult to replicate a season that gets you to the Super Bowl. And yeah, they're in a bad run right now.
And I know this isn't 49ers fan line, but it was basically Cincinnati fan line last week. There are rumblings that players on the 49ers are like, I'm not playing on that field again because they play the Giants next week on that exact same field. And they're like, I'm not putting myself
in New York
on that. Yeah, because it's the same stadium.
Sure. And is it just, I didn't see the game. Is it in just rough shape?
I guess that I have no idea, but all those guys got hurt, and they're one of the ladies from ESPN tweeted that she's been hearing from 49er players. They're like, yeah, I don't want to play on that field again. It's awful.
The game in Mexico last year, Mexico City, did they
they
relocated that because of the field?
I think, didn't they play it in? Yeah.
They initially postponed or canceled it and then ended up playing it maybe at Levi.
Yeah, it's a little more
you're right.
difficult because that probably was a home game for the 49ers in Mexico City, and they just brought it home to San Francisco. But what do you do here? I mean, you can't.
Well, I think you maybe go to San Francisco because who cares?
Can't give them another home game.
Yeah, but it's not a home game.
I guess.
Yeah, that's why I think
if ever there was a year to do it.
Yeah, I think that's why they do it because it's not really a home game. Rams the Rams 37, the Eagles 19, who are 0. The Eagles are 0-2. Goff threw 3 touchdowns today. That Rams team's good, like really good. I mean, they played the Cowboys and the Eagles, but good start for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious how they, keep this. It's just a new look. It's a different look to their offense, I should say. It was cool to see like Cooper Kupp getting involved again today, but like running the ball, they don't have Gurley anymore.
Yeah.
And is it Darrell Henderson? I think is the guy that was getting a lot of the love today, but they drafted that Cam Akers. So
they're hurt too, I think.
They're pretty good. The thing with the Rams though, the Rams for me is the team that when they had Goff, Gurley at his best, the year they go to the Super Bowl, they get all of those high-priced free agents. So they bring in Aqib Talib, they bring in Ndamukong Suh, Dante Fowler, they traded for him. I forget when that happened. That may have just been last year. But they get all these guys defensively. They had Marcus Peters, and they get to the Super Bowl. They don't get there. Well, now what's behind them? It's like you had all of these big timers.
Yeah.
It didn't work. And now you're in that development piece where you got to raise the next line of kids. Their O-line's getting old. Their O-line is not fantastic. Like I just, they can be very explosive. There's no doubt about it. So I won't argue that. But in terms of being like a Super Bowl contender, the Rams just don't look that way to me. I think they're going to be, as Vikings fans, I'm pining for 9-7, but they feel like one of those teams that's going to be 9-7. They'll get in on a wild card and maybe be done the first weekend.
Steelers 26, Broncos 21. The Steelers are 2-0. The Broncos are 0-2.
Minute 15 left in this game.
They're kind of
Tyreek Hill just got hurt.
Did he really?
Watch him limp at the end of this pass here. Kind of came up weird.
Man, I'd kill for one of those Gatorades. Anyhow,
okay.
Roethlisberger threw 2 touchdowns.
Parched?
Yeah. I ate a lot of Carboni's pizza, man. I'm fat and full of salt.
You look great.
No, I do not. I look like hell. Buccaneers 31. Brady gets his first win is in Tampa. The Panthers are 0-2. Who's the Panthers quarterback?
Teddy.
He's terrible.
They're terrible.
He's not great.
No.
Their team is terrible. They have no defense, and you have we talk about how the Vikings can't get Dalvin involved. If you get
McCaffrey,
if you find a way that Christian McCaffrey, with all that he can do, can't be part of the game plan, and he scored 2 touchdowns today. I'm not saying he didn't,
but everybody thought he'd be a huge factor with how Teddy just
game-changing
throws
factor,
it down.
right.
Yeah, just just kind of dinks and dunks down the field.
They were scoreless at
we'll
yeah,
see.
they were. Yeah, not good.
We'll see a few years from now whether or not it was a good idea or a bad idea. But just as as a fan, the talking about getting Dalvin involved, he had touches on 51% of their offensive snaps last year. 51%.
Yeah.
And so, but
they've gone away from it.
But that's how that offense moves. That's how much Christian McCaffrey impacts that team and that offense. And that's why he's making all that cash.
Yep.
I don't want Dalvin. 51%. We still have Adam Thielen. We have a lot more going for us as a total offensive package, or at least I thought before I watched today's game. But more Dalvin is I think a recipe for success, even as recently as the next game against Tennessee in the week.
This is a weird game currently going on because you rarely see Patrick Mahomes do that.
Yeah.
This Chargers team,
seconds remaining. Chargers 20, Chiefs 17.
Who won on a doink, right? Didn't the Bengal guy doink the field goal? Didn't he miss it?
Yeah, Randy Bullock.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We were watching it here.
Ooh. Well, and that's still because they didn't give Burrow another shot.
Another shot.
There's 7 seconds left in the 13. Let the kid try to win it.
It's Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, but he's got to catch.
On that.
He's got to catch that.
Come on.
But
it got tapped right in front of him.
Oh, but
still hard to see from that angle.
Yeah, it's here we go, man. Like this Chargers team's 54 seconds away from being 2-0. Like,
how about the new? Did Zimmer have this one on too? I think the face mask.
Yes, he did.
That clips onto the brim of your hat.
It's such a dad look.
It looked great. I loved it.
Man, they're out of field goal range.
Andy Reid talked to somebody about getting some special defogger.
And now they're in field goal range. Wow. Ooh, why didn't you go down?
And he got the first down.
And he got the first down.
Yeah. Wow. Nice play.
What
Never
a play.
Mind. Never mind.
Took the timeout. They're going for the win. Man.
That's why they're the Chiefs and they're the Chargers.
Cardinals 30. This one just went final. Washington 15. Kyler Murray threw a touchdown and ran in 2 more touchdowns. Kyler Murray's the real deal, man.
I just reminded myself of this. Ooh. So I didn't watch Niners Jets other than via the Red Zone channel, flipping in, flipping out. Did you see Jerick McKinnon run for 55 yards on a 3rd and 31?
No, I didn't.
The Niners today.
Was it just a draw play? What? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was just a simple cutback. He got out to the outside and he was good for 55 on a 3rd and 31.
Yeah, because I saw. Excuse me.
I love Jet as a human, so
I like him too. Yeah, I wish we still had him.
No, it'd be nice.
Because I saw those stats from he had 3 carries for 80 yards.
Yeah, I think he had a score today too.
Yeah. But good for them. Ravens 33, Texans 16. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, that game's over because
this just
Lamar is just
Ravens are good.
Really, really good. Lamar's basically kneeling the ball.
Yeah, they got 2 more minutes, but it's done.
Man, they're going for the touchdown too.
Come on.
Here they go.
Let's get some OT in here.
Man,
this is how starved we are for good football.
Well, yeah, I mean, I thought
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
the highlight of our show has been the Bengals game, the Chiefs game,
AFC teams
talking about Atlanta, Dallas.
We're rooting for the freaking Chargers right now
because we.
This is where we are, Vikings fans.
So we got 5 minutes left. We watched the Vikings lose again today.
Yeah.
And it's not, as I said, I said about 20 minutes ago, they don't have the Lions coming in next week. They got the Tennessee Titans coming in who are 2-0 and have a bruising running game that this team can't seem to slow down.
Yeah.
They let a rookie dash through them today. Do we know the extent of Anthony Barr's injury, what it is? It was a shoulder, right?
A shoulder,
yeah. It was a shoulder situation. Yeah, he was kind of holding it gingerly on the sideline. That could mean one of about a billion things.
Yeah, and I don't know what I heard. Troy Dye got nicked up a little bit too.
Yeah, they had some guy come in to play linebacker that I'd never heard of.
Gosh, was it
started with a C, I think. Was his last name.
Yes. I should know this. I'll have to know it tomorrow.
Yeah, you should know this.
I forget, but I will know. But yeah, so but to that point though, I mean, if your goal is to completely eliminate Derrick Henry from the equation, you're going to say, okay, beat us with Jonnu Smith, beat us with
they probably
with Corey Davis.
Yeah.
But it just, for 1 week, I just want to do something really, really well. So I want to shut down Derrick Henry. That'll make me feel good about myself.
Yeah. Is it
And
Ryan Conley?
yes, that's right. I think we got him from the Giants. But the thing with I think he's a Minnesota native too. Might have went to EP.
Yeah, Eden Prairie.
But the thing with this team though is if you're trotting out Kendricks and Eric Wilson and Anthony Barr's not in there, if it's Connolly or whoever that's stepping up in your 4-3 base without Ben Gideon, I mean, that in itself,
right? I mean,
is very
good luck to you if you have Henry in your fantasy lineup. You're going to maybe win just with him if that's the case.
That's going to be the situation the rest of the year here.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be formulating their fantasy lineups off of who the Vikings are playing against.
Yeah, which is sad. So, I mean, we saw the quarterback needs a bounce back, but man, he can. We've seen him do it before. I mean, we saw him do it against. I mean, he goes down to New Orleans
Butker
and
for
wins.
the tie.
He goes down and wins that game in New Orleans, then lays an egg in San Francisco.
Yep.
He lays an egg at home last week, and he was maybe the worst game of his career today.
So when I judge him based on last week, I can't say he laid an egg. I mean, he had the one bad pass.
Sure, but yeah.
And so, but the game flow, not having the ball, all of those things, I thought when he had time and there was a drive and there was momentum, Kirk was fantastic last week. They did score 34 points in 18 minutes. That's sweet.
Sure.
But we are starting to see the Kirk that we feared, and it's just one game, so maybe we don't freak out about it. But if we start to see another one and another one, it's a big deal, is when things aren't ideal. I mean, he doesn't have Thielen and Diggs, and they fought through it by getting Dalvin the ball all the freaking time last year when Thielen was out with that hamstring, and he didn't have both guys on the field. But now with just Thielen, did he make it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Overtime, Chiefs and Chargers, sweet. Yep. But when things aren't ideal and you're having problems with the O-line, you're having problems with Kirk. And Kirk made some brutal decisions today.
Brutal.
That are not explainable. There's certainly no validity to them or excusable by any stretch of the imagination. And so that's probably, I would say, after not seeing more of Dalvin, probably the most disappointing aspect of the offense to me. It was just watching a guy that looked as flustered as he was when he first came to Minnesota. And that's not going to win you many games.
Well, and we're far enough into this experiment with Kirk where, when he first signed here, Vikings fans, I would say for the most part, were really excited about the upside of what Kirk can bring. You like that Kirk Cousins. Washington fans, on the other hand, were laughing at us, saying, have fun, you'll enjoy it. He's going to tank, or he's going to screw it up for you, whatever. He can't handle the pressure. Maybe we're far enough into this situation where this just is what it is. The inconsistency, the inability to string together when it matters most, all these things, that's just what it is. And he does have that upside where he gives you that glimpse of what it could be, but it can't last.
Let's just stop Derrick Henry next week and see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Derrick Henry.
Because
but realistically, come on.
Hold on here. I wish I was prepared better.
I'm more optimistic.
I guess so, man. That's usually my role.
I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm just saying stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Quickly, if they don't, this is what we're going to hear a lot of next week.
Lawrence looking at that bunch formation. Here's a fade to the corner, and it's beautifully thrown to Higgins for a touchdown.
Come on.
9th touchdown catch of the year for T. Higgins, and Trevor Lawrence with his 28th touchdown pass.
That's what we're going to hear a lot of. Yeah. Nice edit on that, Zach. I don't know what a pat is, but I think Trevor Lawrence can throw it. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Nordo. Thank you, everybody that helped out. Bye.